I got my first ever remote job with zero experience, and honestly, I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. But then somehow, I still managed to get hired. So I'm here to share with you guys my story and possibly how you can use that to inspire you and also just apply that into your own application strategy. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Fafie and I'm currently working 3 remote jobs. That is 2 full-time positions and 1 part-time position. So on here, I like to share remote work tips and insights on how you can also land your own remote job. Let's go back to 2022. This is when I finished my civil engineering studies in May to be specific. And after I got done, I was really looking to see if I can find anything in the construction or engineering field. So I remember applying for internships, graduate programs, any volunteer work that I could find to build up my engineering experience. And while I did get interviews, nothing solid was coming out of them. And I did think to myself, like, there has to be other things that I can do. There has to be other ways I can get experience, other ways I can make money. And that is when I started looking into online or remote work opportunities. I didn't even know anything about remote jobs back then. Like, I was even thinking, who are the people that get these type of jobs? Like, what are the requirements? What exactly do you need to actually get a remote job? So I ended up applying on LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn and Indeed the most because those were like the beginner platforms for where you can find remote jobs. I'll search up anything from admin assistant or just assistant, or also just type things like remote jobs in the search and just hope and pray that whatever comes up is exactly what I'm looking for. So the job that I applied for was listed on Indeed. It was a customer service VA position. And I was like, you know what? Let me apply for this and see where this goes. This job was posted by a recruitment agency, which I didn't know about at the time. And I just applied knowing that I have zero experience. I don't even remember the CV that I used, but I am pretty sure it wasn't the best at the time. Something in me just said, apply, try, you never know. And I ended up sending in my application. Surprisingly, they got back to me. Now, because this was a recruitment agency, I had to do assessments and interviews with the recruitment agency at the beginning. I remember I did about 2 interviews with them. And then the third interview that I did with them was them telling me the client, what the client is looking for, what you're expected in your role, and them telling me I am going to do an interview, a final interview with the client, whereby the client was going to interview me and ask me the questions that they had. I was pretty nervous because I'd gotten used to speaking to the recruitment agents. I was feeling a little bit nervous meeting the actual client. And when the day came for me to actually meet with the client, the recruitment agents actually pulled me a little bit aside. Just this was 10 minutes before the actual interview. And they were like, fed me a little bit of information about the client and also how best to present myself to the client, because I was interviewing, it was me and 3 other candidates who were chosen to be like, these are our top 3, and the client only had to select one. When I actually got to meet with the client, they were asking me questions. These questions were really based on customer service, as this was a customer service heavy position. Even though I had no customer service experience, I tried as much as I can to highlight the experience that I have through working from like freelance projects, also just working on my school projects, and also just coming from that engineering background, trying to see if I can transfer those skills and that experience into a customer based position. I highlighted those transferable skills. I highlighted why they should pick me over the other candidates. And I'd say the interview was pretty good. It didn't go as bad as I thought it would. It actually was pretty good. The client was really understanding and comforting. And yeah, after that interview got wrapped up, and I had to wait for the recruitment agency to get back to me. It was only a few days later when I got the email that the client enjoyed meeting with me and they wanted to take me as part of their team. Guys, I was overjoyed. Like this was my first actual remote job, and I really was excited. They onboarded me with the client, and I was told my roles, my responsibilities, and my schedule, which was only 4 hours a day. There was a part-time job. I was doing it in the American time zone. I'll start at 3 p.m. and finish at 7 p.m. And because I had nothing else going on at the time, this was perfect for me. So here's the funny part. When they sent me that email with my contract, I signed it, returned everything, but then I didn't have a laptop. I didn't even have any workspace for remote work. I didn't have a laptop, no equipment, nothing. And imagine getting a remote job, like literally having to work online, and you don't have the means to work online. Because all the other times I was interviewing using my phone. And although they did ask me about the laptop, what are your laptop specifications, they didn't really say you need to have a laptop on the first day. I got the job. I didn't have a laptop. Now I was thinking, what am I going to do now? Because after signing that contract, I would start work in 3 days' time. That is 3 days. I had to secure a laptop. So I had to make a plan. I asked my friends if anybody could borrow me a laptop, and they didn't have a laptop that they could borrow me. And then I had to go to my little sister and ask her if she has friends who have a spare laptop that they could borrow me. And she actually had a friend. Shout out to Ayanda, that's a friend's name. He came in clutch. He actually borrowed me the laptop for my entire first month while I was working remotely. So after I got started, everything with the client was moving in nicely. I got introduced to the systems, to the team, and everything. It was surreal, guys, like actually having to work online. So this job paid me $300 per month. This was just part time for 4 hours a day, and $300 at the time equated to about 5,500 to 6,000 South African rands. And when that paycheck hit, my first official paycheck, my first official salary, guys, I felt like the richest person in the world. Even if you have like $1 coming in every day, you know that it's coming in every day. There's that stability of it. I knew that I'm getting this money every month. It was amazing. I can tell you guys that. And what did I do with that first paycheck? All of it. Literally all of it. I went to buy a new laptop because as much as I was using this borrowed laptop, I needed my own thing. I took all my money to go buy my laptop. And that is the laptop that I still currently use. Oh, let's see. This one. My Asus, however you guys pronounce it. This laptop, I bought it in 2022. This is what's been sticking with me for all my remote work. 3 years now, and she's still running. Okay. It was the first ever purchase powered through remote work that I made by myself for myself. I showed my mom. She was so happy. She was proud. It was the first ever big girl purchase that I made for myself, which was done through a remote work salary. I recently bought my car, paid full in cash, but as happy as I was, as happy as I felt, that feeling just did not hit as hard as when I bought my laptop. It was like my laptop was like the actual first big purchase that I made for myself. I've already covered that it was a part-time position. I worked 4 hours a day and the pay was $300 per month. I was just helping because it was a carpet cleaning company. So I would be helping with the booking, also handling customer problems, customer inquiries, customers who wanted to book a carpet clean, things like that. But then this is something that I didn't expect. The role later expanded or later grew into a more marketing focused position. They were then like, okay, you're good in customer service, but we want to introduce you we want you to take more responsibilities. We want you to take a more marketing focused approach. I was like, oh, okay. What do you guys have in mind? They were like, we want you to be doing our social media, come up with a content calendar, be posting on our social media. That's our, they were doing Facebook, they were doing Instagram, they were doing Quora, they're also doing their Google business page and also website, WordPress updates. I was like, okay, I am getting so much more than I even applied for, because I just applied for customer service. Now you guys are making me get into marketing. I was like, okay, I took it. And it was social media management. I did all of their socials. So this was actually something I never expected would happen, but I ended up doing it. And 3 years later, I am still with them in social media. This position, if you watch my last vlog, this is the position that opened doors for me in the marketing field. Like, this right here was the actual position that started all of it. So then, how did I get that job if I had zero experience? It wasn't qualifications, it wasn't certifications, it definitely wasn't experience because I had none. And it wasn't my CV, because my CV at the time, I didn't know anything about CV, and I am pretty sure my CV was trash. I don't think I have a CV from back then, but if I do, I actually do want to see it. But I would say what got me the job was highlighting those transferable skills. I was coming from a civil engineering background in some way, and in fact, in a huge way. I had to make sure that that civil engineering background is going to fit into customer service. So I would say attention to detail, because in civil engineering, you really have to be laser focused. If you miss one thing, an entire building is going to fall to the ground. I highlighted that attention to detail, people skills, communication, all the things that I had to take from civil engineering and put into customer service, those transferable skills. And I feel like it's also the way I presented myself into the actual meeting with the client. You know, if you present yourself with confidence, the client feels it, the agent feels it, and they'll be like, okay, she is confident, she does not stutter, she is the person. They will pick you over the other candidates. Other candidates may have stellar experience, but if they do not represent that experience through the way they conduct themselves in the interview, they are not going to be chosen. So, and also the other thing, the recruitment agency really did a good job with me. They did prepare me well for the actual client interview, which I feel like it did help me score the interview. So if you've reached the part in this video, you might be thinking, okay, Fafie, things went well for you. It all happened for me. But then how can I also get started? So I'm here to tell you that if you're applying for remote jobs and you feel like you're not qualified, do not limit yourself. Your first remote job is not going to be perfect. Your first remote job might require you to have experience that you don't have, but don't stop applying just because they say they want a year of experience and probably you do not have that year of experience. And that first remote job might not be your dream remote job. It might not be a full time position or a part time position. It is something to get you started in remote work. So take what you can from this video and also do watch my previous videos so you learn how you can properly customize your CV. And I did also share the CV that has gotten me 7 remote jobs since 2022 that you can also check out. I will link it in the screen so you guys can watch it. But yeah, guys, this was my entire first remote job experience. I hope it does inspire you into also looking into remote jobs. Now, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you on the next video.